Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Our mission today is really laser focused. We are breaking down a tight engineered home workout plan, one that's designed to just maximize full body strength and core control.
Right.
We've been handed the blueprint for a specific session, and we're going to extract the exact nuggets of knowledge you need to execute it perfectly, make sure every single minute counts.
And that's the key here, isn't it? Efficiency. But efficiency through intelligent design. We're not looking at some scattershot collection of moves. We are analyzing a strategic program. This is specifically day 10 in a larger plan.
Day 10, okay.
And the sources are really clear. They define 3 primary targets for this single session. First, building foundational full body strength.
Right.
Second, significantly upgrading your core stability and your balance. And third, maximizing fat burn.
Okay, so hitting all 3 of those major goals, what's the time commitment we're looking at?
It's a beautiful, concise 30 to 35 minutes.
That's it?
That's it. And that incredibly tight window means every rep, every transition, even every second of rest, it's all been optimized.
So we're going to walk you through the architecture of this plan.
From the very first mobilization to the final stabilizing movement, yep. Because adherence to those little details is what separates, an okay workout from a truly efficient one.
35 minutes, full body, maximum output. I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this blueprint, starting where every good training session has to begin, the foundation.
The warm-up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can't build a house on sand, and you really can't maximize your strength gains on cold joints.
You hit the nail on the head. That preparation isn't optional. It's a structural necessity, especially when you only have 5 minutes for it.
So this initial 5 minutes isn't just filler time.
Not at all. It's an activation sequence.
The source material is very specific about this 5-minute segment. It details 5 movements, each one for 45 seconds. Can you walk us through that sequence?
Yeah, it's a progressive warm-up. So you start with a march in place, but coupled with arm swings.
Okay, so light cardio, dynamic shoulder movement.
Exactly. Then you transition right into lower body and hip mobility with hip circles and then torso rotation.
Oh, I love those torso rotations. I feel like they instantly loosen up my upper back.
They do, and that mobility is just vital for the big compound movements that are coming up. After that, the sequence moves into active mobility with knee hugs, alternating legs, of course, and then it finishes with a quick round of light squats.
That feels like a very fast, very comprehensive sequence. Now, the source material must have an explicit reason for choosing these specific moves. What's the goal the plan is trying to achieve before that main clock starts?
So the stated purpose is doing triple duty, really. First, to warm up the joints, to literally increase blood flow and mobility. And second, to specifically fire up or activate the core and the legs.
Okay, that makes sense.
This prep time is mandatory. It directly influences the safety and, more importantly, the efficacy of the compound movements that make up the main workout.
So if you skip it,
If the joints and the primary movers aren't activated, you compromise the quality of all the strength work that follows. You're just wasting time and, frankly, risking injury.
right, that structural necessity makes perfect sense. We're turning the whole system on. Okay, let's jump into the meat of the session, the main workout. This is slated for 20 to 22 minutes. That means the intensity has to be high and the transition between exercises has to be crisp.
Absolutely. And that's where the framework comes in. The main workout requires you to complete 4 total rounds of the 6 exercises listed.
4 rounds. Okay.
And here's where we balance that control with speed. The source recommends resting only 45 to 60 seconds between those rounds.
Wait, hold on. 45 to 60 seconds? That seems painfully short for 4 rounds of full-body compound moves.
It does, doesn't it?
Is the source expecting a big drop in performance by round 4, or is that short rest specifically there to force a metabolic effect?
You nailed it with that second one. That short recovery period is fundamental to the entire plan. It's a deliberate strategy to keep your heart rate high throughout that 20-minute window.
Ah, okay.
And that's crucial for achieving the fat-burning goal alongside the strength goal. The source is optimizing the metabolic return.
So you might see a slight drop in perfect reps by round 4.
You might. But the overall caloric expenditure and the time efficiency is maximized. It's prioritizing intensity over, say, maximal lifting capacity.
I see. So the tight rest is really the engine of the whole thing.
Yeah.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, what is the core methodology driving this whole structure? Why these specific moves in the circuit?
The methodology centers on what the source calls controlled compound movements.
Controlled compound movements.
Think about it. Compound movements engage multiple major muscle groups all at once, like the squat that's using your entire lower body and your core, And when you perform them with control, as instructed by the form tips we're about to get into, they maximize muscle recruitment and caloric burn.
So that's how you get both goals in one short session.
It's the only way. You're getting the most productivity out of every single minute.
Right, so we've established the why. Now let's look at the specific moves, starting where all the power comes from, the legs. Exercise 1 is the foundational bodyweight squat. Rep range is 12 to 15. And this explicitly targets the legs, glutes, and I think this is often overlooked, the core, which is your stabilizer.
And we come back to the lower body later in the circuit, hitting exercise 5, the reverse lunge. That one demands 10 reps on each leg. That movement targets the legs and hips, yes, but the source specifically calls out balance as a critical trained component.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me, the precision in the form tips. For squats, you're told, keep your chest up, knees tracking your toes.
Yeah.
That seems standard, but it's so easy to let your chest collapse forward when you get tired.
Exactly, and keeping that chest up ensures you keep tension on the glutes and hamstrings, rather than leaning forward and just overloading your lower back. But the reverse lunge tip is a little more nuanced, and this is where that stability component really kicks in. It says you have to step back long and keep the front knee stable.
Why is that stability in the front knee so important? What's happening there?
Well, that stabilization requirement is why the lunge is such a crucial balance trainer, not just a strength builder.
Yeah.
When you step back, that front leg has to work overtime to decelerate your movement and then immediately stabilize your entire body weight before you can push off again.
Ah, okay.
Any instability in that front knee, any wobble, it immediately challenges those deep stabilizing muscles in your foot, your ankle, your hip.
So it's a functional movement.
It's a functional movement that demands and therefore builds real control.
That attention to functional control seems to be a running theme here. Okay, moving from the powerful lower body, let's pivot up to the upper body strength component. Exercise 2, the incline push-up. We're looking at 10 to 12 reps, treating the chest, shoulders, and triceps.
And what's fascinating here is the practical adaptation. It's baked right into the plan for the home environment. The source explicitly tells you to use a table or a bed to elevate your hands.
Right, so you can manage the intensity.
Exactly. It makes the push-up challenging but achievable for 4 rounds, and you don't need any specialized gym equipment. That's a huge bonus for accessibility.
That is a great hack. I know I struggle finding 12 minutes to drive to a gym, let alone do the workout, so baking that in is brilliant. But let's look at the form tip for the incline push-up. The plan demands maintaining a straight body line and, crucially, making sure the elbows are kept at 45 degrees. Why that specific angle?
That 45-degree elbow angle is the indispensable detail. It's so important. Without that instruction, a lot of people will flare their elbows way out wide, parallel to their shoulders.
I've seen that.
And that shifts all the stress away from the chest and triceps and puts it directly onto the delicate shoulder joint. It increases injury risk, and it actually decreases the muscle targeting.
So that 45-degree angle is for safety and effectiveness.
It optimizes engagement of the primary muscles, the chest and triceps, and it safely protects the shoulder. It just shows the quality of the planning behind this whole session.
We've covered foundational strength. Now we transition to the command center, the core. The source material dedicates half the circuit 3 out of the 6 exercises to the core. Why such a heavy emphasis? Is stability really the weakest link this plan is trying to fix?
I'd say if the goal is full body strength and efficiency, then the core is the non-negotiable link. It has to be strong. Every single compound movement, from the squat to the push-up, is only as strong as the core stabilization that's supporting it.
So stability isn't a side effect, it's a primary goal.
It's a primary goal. This plan recognizes that. And by weaving 3 different types of core exercises through the circuit, it ensures that those goals of stability and balance are truly cemented.
Excellent. Okay, let's analyze the functions of these 3 core exercises. We start with the glute bridge as exercise 3. 15 reps. It's training the glutes and the lower back.
This is a perfect bridge exercise, pun intended, between the strength and core sections. It strengthens the whole posterior chain, which is so often neglected in home workouts.
And the form tip here is powerful. It demands you squeeze your glutes at the top for a full 2 seconds.
That 2-second isometric hold is vital.
Why?
If you just move up and down quickly, you're using momentum. But holding that static contraction forces maximum motor unit recruitment in the glutes. And those are critical for hip and spinal stability. It shifts the exercise from just, a simple motion into a highly targeted strength builder for the biggest muscles in your body.
Then we hit the dynamic stability movement. Exercise 4, plank shoulder taps. 20 total taps. 10 on each side, targeting core and shoulder stability.
This one raises a really important question for anyone listening. How do you do a plank shoulder tap without losing the very core stability you're trying to build?
And the source has an answer.
It has the crucial, non-negotiable answer. No hip rocking slow and controlled.
That makes sense. The temptation is always to speed through the movement, letting the hips swing all over the place.
Precisely. The goal isn't speed here. The goal is to transfer your weight from 4 points of contact to 3, while keeping a perfectly level pelvis. It's like you have a glass of water balanced on your lower back.
Right.
That resistance to rotation is what builds true, practical core stability, the kind that transfers to every other movement in life.
And finally, let's look at the ultimate deep core movement, exercise 6, the dead bug. 10 controlled reps on each side.
The dead bug is specifically noted to train the deep core muscles. So we're talking about the transverse abdominis, your internal weight belt, the one that supports your spine.
So if the dead bug targets those deep stabilizers, what's the single most critical form tip in the source material?
Ensuring the lower back is glued to the floor.
Glued to the floor.
That is the foundational cue for all deep core work.
Okay, so what does that really mean for the listener? Why is that detail so crucial to focus on?
Well, if your back arches even slightly, which happens when people lower their arms and legs too far or too fast, the hip flexors take over.
And you miss the whole point?
You completely miss activating those deep, stabilizing muscles. Gluing your back to the floor ensures that you're actively engaging the transverse abdominis and the obliques. It forces them to resist the lever arm created by lowering the opposite limbs.
It's the difference between just doing an exercise
And actually achieving the goal of long-term core control and balance. If you feel it mostly in your hip flexors, you've lost that connection to the floor.
This deep dive has shown me this isn't a random collection of bodyweight movements. It's a precisely engineered system.
A 30 to 35-minute system aimed at metabolic and structural improvement.
Let's synthesize the whole structure one last time.
Okay. We begin with that critical 5-minute activation warm-up that makes sure the joints are mobile and the key muscles are firing. Then we move directly into 4 high-intensity rounds of controlled compound movements.
And within those rounds, we have specific strength movements, like the bodyweight squats and the incline push-ups. And then crucially, we have these hyper-targeted stability movements. The glute bridge for posterior strength, plank shoulder taps for rotational control, and the dead bug for that deep internal stability.
And by adhering strictly to the rep counts, like the 10 reps per leg on the reverse lunge, and maintaining that short rest period of 45 to 60 seconds,
Right.
you ensure that the system meets all those initial goals. Strength, stability, and fat burning, all within that very tight time frame.
So the value of the plan really is in following the precision of those details.
Absolutely. Because those details are what turns simple bodyweight moves into targeted high-value training.
It truly maximizes your effort into tangible efficiency. It respects your time and your goals. But before we wrap up, what's the final provocative thought we should leave with the listener based on this highly structured approach?
Okay. If the overarching goal of this entire workout is improved balance and stability, we should look very closely at the unilateral movements.
The ones that work one set at a time.
Exactly. We saw 2 great examples here, the reverse lunges and the dead bug. So the provocative thought for you to consider is this. How might paying specific, intentional attention to those single-side movements, which inherently force your body to manage asymmetry and instability, how might that accelerate your progress toward balance and overall functional stability compared to just focusing on symmetrical movements like the squat or the glute bridge? It encourages you to explore the undeniable benefits of unilateral training and how it really can act as a shortcut to mastering your own movement.